Like, we can be some vicious ladies.
Like, I just can't see it.
Gets ate up by a volcano. I'm gonna bring you back to life so I can kill you. Did I tell a joke?
It is now Corona and her family's turn to make Ingi sit in the hot seat. And let's just say Corona is not impressed with Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We're here to discuss 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, specifically Corona and Ingi. With every scene that we see with these two, they are becoming closer and closer to facing the fact that they are on completely different timelines. We're gonna jump straight into it. Before we do, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, so these two were casually hanging out at Ingi's place. Corona is asking for a beer, and while Ingi is getting it, she's like, so I just talked to my mom and I think that we should FaceTime them. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And she's like, you're excited? And she's like, I told you that you should be nervous. Now, Corona, there's natural nerves already when you're meeting people's families, but usually what people try to do is put their partner at ease so that you get the best outcome. But she's not setting the tone for it to get well. And luckily, Ingi seems to be like, you know, grounded in his own person. Because if he was someone that easily just took up his partner's personality, this would be terrible. But he's like, yo, it's fine. And I'm just so confused about her negativity towards meeting his family and then towards him meeting her family. Because this is the guy that you said you want to build a future with. So you should take up some of his pep. But we get a little more insight as to why she's like this, and it's because she's self-conscious. She was like, I met your family and they were very sweet, and my family's really direct, particularly my mom. She's not gentle, and she apologizes in advance just in case she hurts his feelings. And my thing is like, that's unfortunate that she feels like she has to apologize for her mom. Like, whatever your mom does, that's on her. It doesn't reflect who you are as long as you don't treat him that way. Again, Ingi's like, I don't see how they would be mean to me. I just don't see it. And she's like, okay, you're gonna find out. And then they pop up the computer and there is her mom, her grandma, and her sister. And immediately, I'm cracking up. I loved these ladies the first time we saw them. And I love them even more now. They are hilarious. Immediately, her mom is like, do you live by a volcano? And he's like, no. And she's like, because if she gets swallowed by a volcano, I'm coming after you and murking you. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. And she's like, oh, he's like, okay, good to know. And she's like, well, let's get to it because I don't have all day. I have a party to get to. This move to Iceland. She's like, I'm not a fan of it. But apparently, Corona's sister is. And Corona's sister is like, I just want to make sure that you know how big this is that she left her spot in midwifery for you. Like, that's a big deal. And he's like, yeah, I recognize it. And they're like, we just want to make sure that she continues school out there. Because if she doesn't, we're going to kidnap her in the night and bring her back. They're cracking up, both Ingi and Corona. Their reasoning for laughing can be debatable, but they're cracking up. And the mom is like, did I tell a joke? At this point, I was like, oh, he's probably laughing because he's scared and he knows that you're a little serious. So Corona is like, so what have you learned about this call? And he's like, that y'all will pop off on me. And they're laughing again. And I'm like, Ingi, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Corona has been giving you warnings about this temper. Her family is asking you if you have seen her temper. And he looks at her like, have I? And she's like, no, you haven't. And I'm like, so through this conversation, I think that he's getting a glimpse into who Corona really is. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think the problem here is that he is literally being thrown into the wolves, not just with her family, but with her personality. And it's not something that he signed up for from the beginning. So it'll be very interesting to see if he sticks around or runs away because it's a lot. So at this point, he looks significantly aware of what's going on. And the mom looks pleased with herself. Like, yeah, I put the fear of God in him. And then Corona asks her grandma Grandma, so what do you think? Like, what do you think about him? Because I know you said that you didn't like him. And Grandma's like, now you weren't supposed to say that. That tells me that Grandma still does not like this man. She is still observing it. And Corona put her on the spot. And still, Ingi is taking all of this with a smile. He's not taking anything too personally. You can tell he's taking it all in, but he's chill. And the mom is like, yeah, he's supposed to be a gentleman. I want to see if he's still like this in a year, if he's still this charming. Because I have a feeling that he'll ask for me to take you back a year from now. And Ingi jokes like, yeah, I'll send her back. And Corona's like, I'm non-refundable. You're stuck with me. You can tell she was not impressed by that joke. And so I really loved Corona's sister in this episode because she was like, I'm not here for the dramatics. I'm here to get answers. So she asked about the midwifery school. She asked about if he has seen her temper. She also asks him why he hasn't been in a serious relationship. And yeah, I mean, he's not a young guy, okay? So it is like questionable the fact that he's never, done it. But he says that he's just enjoyed his single life. I don't know if this is problematic to say, but I just feel like men have so much liberty to be bachelors for as long as they want. When they grow old, they're silver foxes, and we just don't get the same privilege. So I understand why he was like, I got time to commit. I can be single for as long as I want. What he says in this conversation, though, is that he was enjoying his single life and that he's always wanted to settle down with someone, and he was waiting for Corona. And so he's like, I always wanted to share my life with someone, though. So when I met Corona, it just fit for us to build together. And the sister's like, oh my God, y'all are so cute. So when are you gonna pop the question? Have y'all talked marriage? And Corona does the thing that she did with his parents when they brought up kids. She's like, ma'am. And Ingi's like, yeah, we've talked about it. Like something like that. But I don't really think they've talked about it. I think he's trying to save face and move on. It doesn't help that Corona zeroes in on him. And he jokes like, oh, it's getting hot in here. Like, oof. Because they're all like, yeah, we hope, you commit sooner rather than later. So in her confessional, Corona says that his answer, worries her because it doesn't seem like he's as serious as her after everything she's done. And you guys, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but you made these choices, ma'am. You are with a man that has never been in a relationship. You've only been together for 4 months. I'm here to break it to you that living together is the commitment. It is a huge step to take. It's a big jump from never being in a relationship to all of a sudden playing house. Like, they're in completely different timelines. They have completely different expectations. And her saying that, like, she's done all this for him, puts all the blame on him and removes all the responsibility from her. And from all of the bits that we've gotten from their story, it sounds like she bulldozed her way into this setup. He was fine doing long distance. Remember when she was talking about her test results? He was like, oh, it's fine if you go home and you come back. Like, I don't think this move was his idea. I think that he's been going along with it. But if you push him too far, you're going to hit a wall, Corona. And I think she's going to push him too far because this is as far as he's willing to go 4 months in. Every time his family and her family now have brought up children, marriage, he looks so uncomfortable because it's just not where they are. Not saying that he wouldn't be open to it in the future, but it's clear that the expectation is, I want a ring in the next 6 months, and that's not where he is. At the end, they closed the computer. He took a deep breath and then looked at her and smiled, and you could see that she was checking for his expression. And he's like, it went well. I think that it went as well as it could have, right? And she's like, you think so? Okay. And they have a kiss, and you just know this is not the end of this conversation. And from the teaser that we saw, it looks like they have a conversation head on. She says something like, you really didn't think that I wanted marriage? And it's a whole thing. So I can't wait to follow along. Please let me know your thoughts on this episode. I look forward to reading them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.